In 2026, the frozen dessert aisle is a masterpiece of marketing deception. You walk in looking for a cold, creamy treat made of milk, cream, and sugar, but what you're likely walking out with is a frozen dairy dessert. Thanks to rising dairy costs and industrial food engineering, the FDA's strict definition of ice cream is being bypassed by some of the biggest names in the business. Many modern brands have ditched the milk fat for vegetable oils and replaced real cream with whey protein concentrate and corn syrup. This isn't about taste. It's about what's quietly replacing real food in plain sight. Here are 10 brands that are faking it, and 3 that are the real deal. Welcome to Culinary Cipher, where we don't just read labels. We decode what's really inside your food. 1. Breyers, select varieties. Why number 1? The frozen dairy dessert pioneer, Breyers, was once the gold standard of all natural ingredients. Today, a large portion of their lineup is labeled frozen dairy dessert. If you look at the ingredients of their popular flavors, like cookies and cream, you'll find corn syrup, mono, and diglycerides, and tarragon before you find actual cream. Why you'll regret it? It has a foamy texture that doesn't melt the way real ice cream does. It simply collapses into a sugary froth. 2. Halo Top. Why number 2? High air content and heavy reliance on sugar alcohols. Halo Top revolutionized the low-calorie ice cream market, but it barely meets the legal definition of ice cream. It relies on erythritol and stevia for sweetness and uses a massive amount of overrun air to keep the calorie count down. Why you'll regret it? If you leave it on the counter, it doesn't melt into a liquid. It often turns into a spongy, porous block due to the high fiber, prebiotic fiber, and air content. 3. Arctic Zero. Why number 3? A non-dairy frozen dessert that lacks the fat required for a creamy mouthfeel. Arctic Zero is often found in the ice cream section, but it is effectively frozen flavored water. By stripping away the fat, to hit the low-calorie counts, they rely on guar gum and xanthan gum to create a fake sense of thickness. Why you'll regret it? It often has an icy or watery texture that lacks the satisfying richness of true dairy fat. For friendlies, select cartons. Why number 4? Inclusion of whey protein concentrate as a primary structural filler. Friendlies has transitioned several of its grocery store flavors to frozen dairy dessert status. By using whey protein concentrate instead of whole milk or cream, they reduce production costs while sacrificing the legal ice cream title. Why you'll regret it? You're paying for something that uses byproduct fillers to mimic the texture of the original diner-style scoops. 5. Blue Bunny. Why number 5? High usage of soft-serve technology in retail packaging. Blue Bunny is famous for its soft texture right out of the freezer. This is achieved through propylene glycol monoesters and a high volume of air. Because it lacks the required milk fat density, most of their loaded sundaes and tubs are labeled as dairy desserts. Quick reality check. If a product has to be engineered to look like ice cream, it's probably not ice cream. And once you start noticing that, you start seeing it everywhere. That's what we do here at Culinary Cipher. We don't follow food trends. We decode them. Let's keep going. 6. Great Value, Walmart brand. Why number 6? Heavy reliance on high fructose corn syrup and cellulose gum. Walmart's budget line is the king of cost cutting. Their frozen dairy dessert tubs are packed with cellulose gum, essentially purified wood pulp, to provide structure where cream is missing. Why you'll regret it? High fructose corn syrup is the primary sweetener, which causes a sharper insulin spike than the cane sugar found in traditional ice cream. 7. Kroger Deluxe, select flavors. Why number 7? Inconsistent labeling that confuses the consumer. Kroger's Deluxe line is a minefield. Some flavors are real ice cream, while others, usually the ones with heavy swirls or chunks, are downgraded to frozen dairy dessert. This allows them to use cheaper vegetable oils in the ribbons of chocolate or caramel. 8. Favorite Day, Target brand. Why number 8? The gourmet look that hides industrial ingredients. Target's stylish brand often uses polysorbate 80 and carrageenan to maintain a smooth look in their reduced fat and light versions. While they look premium, the ingredient list is a chemical project designed to mimic the weight of real cream. 9. Skinny Cow. Why number 9? Low fat usually means high chemistry. To remove the fat but keep the ice cream experience, Skinny Cow uses maltodextrin and various gums. Since it fails the 10% milk fat rule, It is legally a low-fat frozen dairy dessert. 10. Turkey Hill Stuffed Line. Why number 10? The inclusions trap. Turkey Hill's stuffed and layered products often contain so many candy bits and syrups, made with hydrogenated palm kernel oil, that the dairy component falls below the legal threshold. What is actually real ice cream? If you want the real thing in 2026, you need to look for the total simplicity markers. Real ice cream should ideally have 5 main ingredients: milk, cream, sugar, eggs, and optionally, natural flavoring, like vanilla. Here are 4 real ice cream brands. 1. Haagen-Dazs. Why it's real? They famously refuse to use stabilizers like guar gum or carrageenan. The difference? Their vanilla ice cream is just 5 ingredients. It also is dense, has very little air, low overrun, and meets the highest super premium fat standards. 2. Ben & Jerry's. Why it's real? Despite the crazy flavors, they maintain a high milk fat percentage. The difference? They use non-GMO ingredients and real cream, ensuring that even with chunks, the base remains legally ice cream. 3. Strauss Family Creamery. Why it's real? Organic, pasture-raised ingredients, and minimally processed. The difference? This is old world ice cream. It's thick, rich, and uses egg yolks for emulsification instead of chemical mono and diglycerides. For Tillamook. Why it's real? They use a higher standards approach to dairy. The difference? Tillamook uses more cream and less air than almost any other grocery store brand, resulting in a heavier, more satisfying scoop. How to spot the fakes in 3 seconds. The easiest way to protect your pantry is using the squish test. Here are 3 other indicators. 1. If the container feels light as a feather, it's full of air with high overrun. 2. If the front of the package says frozen dairy dessert instead of ice cream, put it back. 3. If the first 3 ingredients include whey, corn syrup, or vegetable oil, it's a lab-grown treat, not a farm-grown one. In 2026, real ice cream is a luxury of simplicity. By choosing brands that stick to the 10% milk fat rule, you're not just getting a better taste. You're choosing real ingredients over engineered substitutes. You're avoiding the industrial gums and oils that turn simple dessert into inflammation and sugar crashes. Because real ice cream doesn't need to be restructured, stabilized, or stimulated. It just needs to be made properly. The difference between real ice cream and imitation isn't in the marketing. It's in the ingredient list. This is Culinary Cipher, where we don't just taste the food, we decode the truth behind it.